Hi, you guys. Okay, get crazy excited. I'm going to introduce you to my friend, also someone who I have been a client of and highly recommend. Also, I've known Sarah. Oh my God, Sarah, we met in California. It was like LA at an event at the most. That was when I met you in person. Sarah Mattie
Fun.
Henderson. I'm sorry.
So fun.
So fun. So fun.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And it was funny because I knew Sarah from the internet. And then I remember like I was on my way to our welcome cocktails or whatever. And I was like, hello. It was fun to meet you in person. And so you guys, I'm going to start the timer because when I saw what Sarah was like, we should talk about this. I was like, oh, we should talk about that. Hi, Sarah. Please say hey
Uh,
to everyone. And anything I did not include that you would like people to know, please start there.
I am a nutrition coach for women in midlife and beyond. Been studying nutrition since I was a wee little one. And so this topic is near and dear to my heart and also extraordinarily personal.
Yeah. So
I'm
this
about to
reminds
be 53, so I'm in it.
Okay. And also stunning at 53. So this reminds me when I met you at the Most event in LA, which was Susan Hyatt. And was it?
4 years right after
Yeah, yeah,
COVID.
yeah. Oh my God. And Rachel Rogers and Robert Hartwell, like trifecta. And I thought you were so cool because I learned you had worked at Canyon Ranch and I learned that you had released weight later in life. And I was like, she's my hero. I want to be like her. And mostly same. So as in like everything's amazing. So okay, let's talk about um how it is secretly, not secretly, totally patriarchy in our heads when we're believing like I have to be the CEO of
Yeah. So I just want to set some background that, women, people born female, everyone goes through menopause if you live past 55. And all that has always been the case in the world. And we have sort of been chalked up to our hormones are called reproductive hormones. That's what they're reduced to and what we're reduced to. Can I swear on here?
yes.
No.
Well, yes.
So we get tits, we get ass, we make babies. That's what they're good for, and then they're gone. And there's a lot of patriarchy in why that is the case, but there's also the system that prevented any research being done on women that gave us more information than that. So we know now it's only been a few years that we've been putting any money into researching what these hormones also do.
Mhm.
And it turns out that we think menopause is hot flashes and drying up and getting a meno belly, which is the worst term on the planet.
Agree.
Um, but it's tinnitus and horrible mood swings and deep, dark depression and frozen shoulder and plantar fasciitis and osteoporosis and heart disease and broken bones and falling. And the list just goes on. There's about 50 different things that these hormones do. And so we go into the doctor's office and they say, oh, well, this is getting old. And if you have a low sex drive, maybe you should try having sex. Have you tried having sex in the morning? Huh? Have you tried that?
That's the
What
answer.
about, yeah, what about eating less and moving more? You
Oh,
know, you're just you're just overweight because you're 50. I mean, it's just this gaslighting and this constant dismissal. Um, and so now that we're getting research and this is wonderful and people are talking about it and big people are talking about it. Oprah's talking about it because Oprah was flat. Oprah was completely apathetic. Halle Berry was told she had herpes. When she had the worst case of herpes the doctor had ever seen when she was in a committed relationship and she went out to her boyfriend and was like, "You have something to tell me?"
yeah.
Because she felt like she had razor blades in her vagina because of the dryness, which no one talks about.
Mm.
So all of these women, Maria Shriver, and I'm so excited that they're talking about it and doing specials about it and creating companies around supplements and red light therapy wands that go places that you don't
I'm
want to
like,
put a red light therapy wand.
you said wand, and I'm like, so that goes there for the razor blade situation? Like whatever it takes, whatever it
Right.
takes.
And so it's this whole sort of like, we're done suffering in silence. We can be the CEO of our own health. We can be our own advocate. And my hope and desire is we shouldn't suffer at all. There
Mm,
was a woman in the audience dripping with a hot flash who spoke about her experience. And she said, hold on, I'm having a hot flash right now. And I said, why the hell are you having a hot flash? You don't have to have a hot flash. You don't have to get osteoporosis. You don't, the reason that women have such a higher rate of dementia is because our brain needs estrogen.
mm,
Can't make serotonin without estrogen. The
mhm,
reason you're flat. So just as a personal aside, I struggled with health and nutrition my entire life. I was the heaviest kid in fifth grade, the only one over 100 pounds. And that's why I went into nutrition and studied it and studied it for 35 years. It wasn't until I was 40 and couldn't get pregnant and had all these things that I figured out what I wasn't taught in school and advocated for myself and got into the kind of physical condition that I'd always dreamed of. Then 50 came along and I couldn't function.
mhm,
I was having such drastic mood swings and flatness and dark despair.
mhm.
Thankfully, I have an amazing husband that you know, and he was just, I would be like telling him the world is over, and he'd be like, you're going to get through this, babe. But I know, still to this day, just like, I don't want anything. The world is awful. And this is years ago. And nobody could help me. Nobody could help me. And I went through 5 physicians, thousands of dollars,
Mhm, mhm,
and
mhm,
then took it upon myself to
mhm,
become the CEO of my health, to become my health advocate.
mhm,
And I probably spent 10 to 20 hours a week researching for years, thousands of hours. And here's the thing, I'm an educated woman with
mhm,
financial means. I own my own company.
mhm.
We cannot expect people to do this.
Right.
It's
This is not
not
for every woman
it's
to
not
benefit.
okay.
Yeah.
My husband doesn't have to be the advocate of his health. He doesn't
Mhm,
have to be the CEO of
mhm,
his care. He
mhm,
doesn't have to come up with thousands of dollars out of his own pocket to provide to get testosterone if he wants it. So
mm.
what point are I'm glad we've reached this point. I'm glad we're talking about it. I'm glad we're not suffering in silence, but let's not suffer.
Yeah.
Let's just not suffer. I mean, I wrote down some statistics. 3 billion women in the world over age 40. 3 billion.
It's almost half the population.
And half the females in the US are over 40. And almost half the US workers are women. And so not okay. And it
No.
and it's great for a CEO to be standing up and or a teacher to be standing up in front of a classroom dripping to be able to say, now I'm having a hot flash where you didn't used to get to say that.
Right.
But let's just not suffer. And let's stop, you know, perpetuating the patriarchal healthcare system. Let's
It's
change it.
so fascinating how patriarchal the healthcare system is, certainly here in the United States. We all know I do apologize, but I am a dumb American. And so I only know a little bit about the America, but how our healthcare system, like I did not research for this because you guys have all met me. That's not what I ever do. But like when I learned about how like most of the air quotes science, it was always men, it was always men, it was always men, it was always men. And it's just like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
it didn't even reach uh, it didn't even approach an equal amount of money spent on women until 2020, I think. And
Like a
it's sort of like
second.
I joke that it's like researches of mice and men.
Literally, literally. And it's bananas because it's like, God, what? Oh, and I guess unconscious, but it's like, right, that is why
Yeah,
diversity of thought comes in handy in all rooms because how many rooms were filled with men and it never occurred to them to be like, but what happens in the girl version of this?
yeah, yes. And I remember joking when I was a teenager, like if men got their period,
Yeah.
would get they would be free, tampons would be free.
Yes.
And now that was 40 years ago and
Yeah.
here we are. My husband, you would just go and get whatever you need and the care would be
Care.
it would be care. And I've had women tell me that they, for years were almost committed themselves. And that's what used to happen. Hysteria comes from the word uterus. I mean, that's bananas.
It is bananas. It's like I'm trying to take it all in because it is so deeply bananas. And then it's so like never been a better time to be a woman. And I appreciate how you said like you did all this research and how you were also like, and I'm 35 years into doing this kind of research. So it's not like me getting on the Google or Chat GPT. It's someone who can rip through technical papers and terms.
Know who's full of crap and know who's not, like immediately.
Right. And like on one hand, it gives me chills because I'm like, oh, you were born for this work. You were always being prepared for this work, this moment in time. Like, look at how we get perfectly prepared. But also, as to your point, this is not acceptable. Like, it should not be this way. Like, every woman, like, every woman should have access to the information and into the normalization. Will you also tell people, because it's something that I learned from you and I want to brag, I prioritize protein and I want to confess I'm really not yet prioritizing lifting weights, but I've been saying I'm going to do it soon for about 2 years now. So we're gonna, we're going to get into that. But can you, in our somewhat limited time, speak to prioritizing protein, certainly for perimenopause and menopausal women?
So protein is what I call the fountain of youth. It is the absolute key to everything. It is one of the only things that our body needs that we cannot make. We can make a lot of things internally, but we can't make this.
Hmm.
And even if you ate a whole cow today, you would wake up tomorrow and still need the same amount of protein you need every day. It's like Groundhog Day. And so it's super, super important. And it protects our muscle. And if we don't have muscle, our metabolism doesn't work, and we are very likely to fall, especially as the hormones go down, the muscle and the bone go down. One of the leading causes of death among women over 65 is falling and breaking a hip and not coming back. But also, it just creates vitality, and it increases GLP-1s, which everyone is taking naturally. And it's the only thing that keeps you from being hungry all the time. So it just reduces that brain chatter and noise around food, and makes you feel really strong and makes you build muscle, which then helps your metabolism also. It's just a win-win. Also, something I wasn't taught in my gazillion years of school is that protein really can't be stored as fat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
That's interesting, which is why bodybuilders are the leanest people on the planet and eat the most protein of anyone on the planet. So that's interesting. And then weight training, I would just say muscle is your retirement account.
Mm.
More muscle you have, the richer you are, and the more you withstand. If you break something and you're in the hospital for a month,
Yep. Yep.
you got plenty of muscle saved up
I
to
am
get.
clear with that concept. Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
So
that's
there
good.
you are. And it's really, I've worked with some 80 something patients or clients, I know, which I love. And a couple have had serious health issues where they were in the hospital, and some of them got out of it okay, and others really lost a lot of muscle.
Mm.
Big, big deal.
It's fine. You're like, speak deal. You guys, you didn't even plan it. It just worked out perfectly timing wise.
I want a timer on everything I do now with music.
It's like it was a whole brouhaha for me to download it in Zoom and figure it out. And I'm still like very cumbersome about it, but I'm also like,
If I could give my kids a speech and then have that go off at the end,
we gotta get it on your iPhone so you can press the button and leave the
I'm
room
I'm
dramatically.
gonna do that.
Yeah,
But that
that's
was fun.
fun.
I felt like speed dating.
It's fun, right? Is that why I love it? That's why I love it. Thank you for being here. We're gonna share all your stuff so everybody like can connect
My
with you.
super outdated website.
And you'll get no judgment from me.
I know.
Website,
I just can't handle the dealing with it.
same. Where's the place? Should they go to your website? Should they find you on Facebook? Like, where's your like top place to find you?
I'm starting a YouTube channel, brand new, samesies.
Click there. Okay. Click.
Mine is super messy magic, which is fine. That's what I'm doing.
Good.
But yeah, website, Facebook, YouTube.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sarah, thank you.
Such a pleasure.